So in the diploma app under most important to remember, it just has a real quick breakdown once again of memory reconsolidation. Step one, memory retrieval. So recall a memory that you want to change. Two, destabilization. After the memory has been retrieved, there's a period where it becomes unstable or malleable. They call it malleable, if I can say it. That's that window to kind of create an experience for the memory that is very different to usual. So the personality can't come out and do what it needs to do. Step three, we're going to give new information or a new experience. So during the destabilization period, introducing new informational experiences that allow the memory to be changed and reconsolidated. So, and then reconsolidation is what happens when the memory has been destabilized and it shifts off. And that's that like window where it goes through different processes. And then they call it, it gets linked in the associative memory pathway, which is it kind of gets put in with other memories and placed in our brain as an explicit memory. So for us, like I said, the reason we do memory reconsolidation quite different to what is out there, just because we use kind of the power of hypnosis and the ability to use imagination to create that chemical to be released in the brain very quickly, which allows this way of doing memory reconsolidation to be quite different to what's being done right now, which is allowing people to feel it out and then offering a different sensory experience for the brain. We're kind of going straight to the source, which is which is kind of a more of a hypnosis spin on it. So yeah, so once again, it's effective and quick. Yeah, it says a bit more in there. So that's just under quick things to remember if you're looking for that. Most important things to remember if someone's asking you what we're doing. So in the quick links, we've got, like I said, with the script, I'm giving you ideas on how to do it, but it's not a step-by-step script. And what you'll find when you do it, it'll change every time you do it. Like I said, you might start doing full-on symbols, and then you've got an idea of what the person kind of like, what I'll talk about a target in a minute, what a target is. And then from there, you might just do a quick switch, getting the person just to go from one state to another. Or you might choose to do going back the more regression style to as a little teaching tool, you know, to teach them who they are when they're being triggered. If we go to, I'll just stop share for a minute. If we go to, where has it gone? That I might have to open it up again. The GT thing. This little, it's not a PowerPoint, it's a little PDF. It's going into the thing, so you can download it if you want it, or if you want to watch it, the PDF is going in the app. So in here, it talks about creating a target. Here it is. So what a target is finding something that really fires up the brain of the client. So it's something that when they think about that place or that person or that animal or that time, they light up. And there are different ways of creating a target. In the diploma app, there's a script that, or you can just do the script that where you'd put them into a really nice trance in a recording, and while they're going into hypnosis, you could do that, bringing in a beautiful light into the body and breathing, and actually getting them to practice that every day, the process of bringing in a golden light into the body and holding your heart, breathing in, knowing that you're safe and you're okay. If you give that as a recording before the first session and get them to listen to it every day like we do with other recordings, then when you say to do it in the session for the first time, okay, imagine a beautiful light coming in through your body, hold your heart and breathe. because they've been doing it every day, you've already kind of created an anchor to that, or a target that you can move towards. The other way you can create a kind of a target is when you do it the first time, and you get them to bring in a beautiful light into their body. You could say to them, if I was to ask you to picture someone you loved, or an animal, or a place you love to be, what would that be? And they'd say, my dog. Tell me about your dog. You know, it could be, it's a white, what, golden shepherd or whatever that is. And what's its name? Its name's Lucy. And you're like, sweet. Okay, just picture patting Lucy, picture giving Lucy a hug. And now you've got your target. So you'd write that down. So for the rest of the session, anytime you did the process again, you would say to them, now I want you to imagine you're hugging Lucy. You know, what does Lucy love to do? Does Lucy love running? Do you know what I mean? So you've got an idea now of a target that will fire the client up. That target might need to change, because we don't want to, you know, desensitize the client too much to the target. You know, when you do use the same target over and over again, it might not have the same effect so much on the client. So you might find that you might ask them another time, what are you thinking about? And they might say, my partner. And I'll be like, what was your partner's name? So we're kind of creating targets that the client can go to. I'm not really into asking on a form, you know, who would they think about, if they had to think about someone, because it is really guided on what's happening for the client that day. Because most people would put down in the form their children, but if in the morning their kids were annoying getting them to school, they're not going to picture their kids. And if you did, it could bring up not the response you're wanting. So what you're targeted is really specific to what's going on with that person. So with a recording, like if you haven't got the Diploma app, just tell me and I'll give you the anchoring and a feeling of love and trust. And you can have a look at that script and kind of change it around a little bit. But what that does is it gets them to go into trance and picture the face of someone they love, and then anchor in a feeling. And that's kind of what you might want to give them before they come. But for me, definitely doing some kind of recording that brings in a beautiful light, and so that their brain is kind of used to that process. Yeah, so when I talk about a target, this is what I'm talking about, something that I can use to guide the client very quickly into a state. Remember, when they are triggered, they are in hypnosis, which means a heightened emotion, like I said before, is hypnosis. It's one of the strongest hypnotic trances I've ever got. Like I can get the deepest kind of altered state I can get without using medicine is doing like SP style hypnosis, you know, where there's just constant layering of going deeper and then up out of the body. But when I'm using just doing normal type of hypnosis, I tend to get people in through a heightened emotion, usually a positive one. So relaxing them down, bringing up a feeling of love, and then using that as a way in, because yeah, it really does work for trance. The mind is open. Yeah, so the target is, yeah, what we're going to be kind of using. So when you are talking to clients, and even when you're doing GT, you kind of take notes. So if someone goes back to being 4 and they're sad, I always write on the piece of paper. I don't write a lot of notes. You wouldn't know by looking at what I'm writing what actually happened in the session, but you will see 4, sad, heart, and then if I did take them into the future, it would be, or I might write down square if they saw a square, a red square. I tend to write notes, and they're more for me, so that if we do target something similar the next week, I've kind of got a bit of reference to where we went or what we did. Kind of jogs the memory a little bit. But definitely if they say, you know, oh, I've got this niece and she's so amazing and her name is so and so and we went to the park, I would make a note of that, because it might be something that I'm going to draw on later when we need to switch the memory. Yeah, so once again, creating a target via a recording if you want to, and then creating and then just listening to them and asking them, who are you looking at, or what are you looking at when I say this? And that way you can get a bit of an idea of what to do. So yeah, that's the creating a target. I'm just going to stop sharing that. And I'm going to stop.